church one day. We had gotten married. And I saw this advert and it was on marriage. And I thought, wow, this sounds so interesting. And I loved it because it had biblical principles. And I thought, oh, this sounds really interesting. So I suggested to him, and I said, why don't we attend this? It sounds so interesting. And you said?
I didn't give an answer. What she was asking us to go to, I didn't really understand what it was, but I thought it was to do with counseling. And I was very perturbed because I thought we are not even 1 year into our marriage and she's asking us to go on what I thought was a counseling thing. So I resisted and I didn't give an answer.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Twirls and Tuxedo. I am Mr. Effective Wedding International MC. I'm here with two amazing guests. If you would like to introduce yourselves.
Jerry Hornsby Odoe.
And my name is Maria.
Maria and Jerry. I'm going to call you Mr. Jerry and Mrs. Maria because I'm an African child.
That's
and I can't call your first name.
We're good.
Oh, you're good.
We're
Okay,
good.
fantastic. Before we go into today's topic, I'd like to play a little game with my guest.
Okay.
Oh.
So we're going to play a game, just seeing how well you know each other. I know you guys married for a very long time. How many?
Yes.
30?
We've been married for 31 years.
31 years. So we're going to see how well you both know each other. It's a very simple game. There are 4 questions.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask a question and you're going to write down what you think about the other person. So for
Okay.
example, one of the question is to you.
Yes.
What do you think his favorite color is? So you write it down on the board. Don't let him see. Write it down. Let's see how well you both know each other. Please don't look at each other's as big as possible.
As big as possible, right?
His favorite color. When you're done, just turn it around.
Oh, I can do it. Okay.
Okay, let's let the camera see. The camera in the middle. You have black. What do you have there? No color, white.
Okay.
Okay, that's interesting. So you can wipe that off. Now it's your turn, sir. What do you think your wife's favorite food is? Please look this way. Her favorite food. No, look this way so you don't see what she's writing. Food. Favorite food.
You've got to. So
Yeah,
need to
yes,
make
yes,
sure
food,
we make
yes.
Sure that
You're not looking food.
favorite food.
Favorite food.
And just write quickly.
Yeah, you can write it down. Yeah. Okay. Well then, You don't have one?
No, I don't.
Take a guess. Anyone you think he might write? He's written something down.
He's written something
Yeah.
down.
Oh, yeah.
And it seems like quite confident about it as well.
Oh, no, I'm not confident at all.
Okay, let's let the camera see. Pastry rice bowls. Okay, nope. Next question.
This is going well.
Very well.
What do you think your no? This is other way around. What do you think your husband's love language is?
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Turn this camera. I think we'll go. That goes. Yeah. That goes. Yes.
You write something starting.
You can look at yes.
Actually, I was thinking of touch, but I thought.
Yeah,
let's go
that's
this way.
good. Fantastic. And then last question is, what do you think your wife's favorite either book, movie, or TV show? You can pick whichever one you think is easiest. TV or movie. Which one do you think you know out of those 3?
Go book.
Book. Favorite book. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let the camera see. The Bible. Oh, that was beautiful. Fantastic. Give yourselves a round of applause. Can pass me the boards so I get rid of that for you. Fantastic.
What's the pass mark?
Well, 50%. You can get the pen as well.
Of color, I was thinking of
Under
clothing.
Yeah. Oh, fair. Fantastic. Sorry, Henry, can you just pick this up for me? Thank you very much. All right. So today's topic is one I'm very, very excited about. We're talking about, well, we've titled it, What You Need to Know Before You Say I Do. And, we all, before you get married or for the wedding day, everyone's planning the dress, the cakes, the decor, the music, the live band. But there's some critical things you should start discussing, and it's around like getting to know your partner, their love language, their favorite food, who they are, and some of their traumas as well. We're going to discuss all of that today, and then that happens mostly in counseling. But I know you both said you're not counselors, you're marriage coaches. Can you just tell us about your journey into getting into that? How you don't do that full time, right? Or you do it full time?
No, it's not full.
It's full time. So just tell us the journey how you got into what we call marriage coaching.
Okay.
Ladies first.
All right, for sure. So when I was thinking of getting married and we're getting closer to the date, I was thinking, my goodness, I'm so in love with this guy. But when you look around you, you can see marriages are struggling,
yes.
and even within the church. I mean, I used to read a lot of books as a teen. I used to read a lot of books on marriage and family, Christian books. And so as my time came closer, I thought, well, what is going to make mine different? I cannot assume just because I am a Christian and he's a Christian that it is going to work. Because as I said, even within the church, you see challenges. And even those who are together, it's not quite what you it's not the kind of thing you want to get into. So I'd been praying about it, and I said, well, Lord, what is it? And I'd been mulling it over. And so we attended church one day. We had gotten married, and I saw this advert in the news letter, and it was on marriage, And I thought, wow, this sounds so interesting. But I couldn't get involved in it because I was doing my postgraduate at the time. So I just noted it and thought, well, when I come back, it's something I'd really want to explore. I didn't tell him that. So when I finished and I came back home, I went away for a year, but of course we see each other in that time, he visits. And when I came back and we finished, I saw this advert again. And I loved it because it had biblical principles. And I thought, oh, this sounds really interesting. So I suggested to him, why don't we attend? Because there's a specific date. And I said, why don't we attend this? It sounds so interesting. And you said?
I didn't give an answer. What I did was, what she was asking us to go to, I didn't really understand what it was, but I thought it was to do with counseling. And I was very perturbed because I thought we are not even 1 year into our marriage. And she's asking us to go on what I thought was a counseling thing. So I resisted, and I didn't give an answer. The long and short of it was getting closer to the date. So I knew that I had to either say yes or no. And I was a very smart young man. And I realized that if I did say no, because she was very interested, there was going to be a bit of tension in the house. So I thought I'll be smart. I'll just say yes, go to this counseling, sit and listen to what they have to say. Everything that they said, I'll just let it pass over my head. And then we go back home. Then I've solved the problem. So that's how we went to this counseling in my thought counseling seminar. It wasn't that at all. It was just an introduction to the ministry that we are now in. And it was first year of our marriage. But when I heard what was being mentioned and what the whole ministry was about, I realized that it was something I would be very interested in. And I was so moved to get involved that I grabbed my wife. Of course, after the presentation, they made the announcement, if you want to get involved, sign up at this place. I didn't listen to what they were saying, and I just grabbed her, rushed to a table and went to sign up. Because I wanted to get on the course.
On the course to do further, it was just an introduction.
Yes, this was just the introduction, but the ministry ran courses to teach about marriage. And so I was so excited. All I thought was, I'm going to sign up so we go into the course so we can learn how to make our marriage good. And I went to sign up at the wrong table. I signed up at the table of those who wanted to join the ministry.
And become coaches,
and become part of the ministry. So that's how we got.
Oh, wow. So that's
total
that wrong mistake. And how many years ago was that? 30?
That was in the first year
of our marriage.
First or second?
More like first.
That's your
So about 30 years ago.
So we are talking 30
absolutely.
years.
Oh wow! And then ever since then, you've just gone
Yes.
along with it and you know
right.
and
Yes.
done all of that. And that's fantastic because I think this topic is so important. Whether we're going to call it counseling, coaching before marriage,
Yes.
because you know, wedding planning is very, very stressful. And I don't know what it is about wedding planning, and when the wedding comes, all the demons in families, all the skeletons, everything just comes out, because I think it's the first time where, you know, everyone, because typically when you get married to someone, you're married the person, or you think you're marrying one person one-on-one. But then
Yes.
when it's time for the wedding or the wedding planning, everyone else comes in, the father, the mother, in-laws, aunts, uncles, and you then see all the different things you've not seen before.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if you as a couple are not grounded together or are not strong together, it can break, you know, that's journey about to start on today. So I really wanted to talk about different issues around that. So why are people scared of counseling or premarital counseling? Like you mentioned yourself, when you heard about it, you were like, especially with men.
Yes.
When you heard about it, you know,
Especially with
what is the reason? Why do you think the reason is? What do people think it is, and what is it from your experience?
Okay. Counseling has got different ways of being taught, but generally, marriage counseling we'll describe it as being given advice and being given as much information on how to do your marriage. And first things for me is like, one, it's my business. Why are you, what do you want to know about our relationships? Nothing to do with you. So I resisted having any sort of talk about a counselor. I don't know this person.
Yeah.
And
The
this
defense
person
mechanism
is
just
coming
came up.
into-
Yes.
Yes, this person is coming into our relationship and going to be finding out things. So the first resistance that usually men have is, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't talk for all men. So I'll say what I had was, this is nothing to do with anybody else. This is our relationship. And you also don't really, especially at the beginning, you don't think that far about what is going to happen in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. You are concentrating on the relationship that you have at the
Right
moment,
now.
and you are so drawn to this person. You just think this is just a lovely relationship. It's just going to go well.
Honeymoon phase.
Honeymoon phase.
And you see the honeymoon phase all down the years, and that's how you think it's going to go. So there's a resistance of somebody coming to tell you. And then sometimes you also have a fear of things being exposed, because there are things that you think, I don't want her to know because I can handle it, and you don't want it to come out that early. So the third thing I'll say about marriage counseling is you really don't even understand what it's all about. I mean, we had marriage counseling before we got married, and I think it was over,
3 weeks.
and even the 3 weeks, how many hours altogether?
Yeah. Probably about an hour and a half.
Maybe even less than an
Less than
hour.
that, yeah.
And it was the sort of thing that you say, oh, things like, don't get angry. When you're angry, make sure you sort things out before
you go to bed.
You know, all these things, there was a lot of fury. And the third thing, like I'm saying, is I don't think we get as much positive from some of the counseling that is given. You know, so generally, I don't think at that stage your mind is thinking that we are going to have problems, and you are what you see at the moment, and you call it the honeymoon phase. You just see that's what it's going to be. So why should you go and have? We are okay. So why should I have?
And just on the flip side, because obviously we've spoken about the resistance from man, and usually the woman is always encouraging. Why at that early stage? Why were you interested in that? Because I have a similar story with my wife as well.
Okay.
She encouraged us to do it. I was like, why? And I when you said you spoke for men, I agree. I agree with everything you said. I just felt like defensive mode, things are going well. I don't know this person. So why were you interested in doing the counseling?
Yeah, well, I wanted to be prepared, and I wanted to make sure we had a strong foundation. You know, I didn't want to take anything for granted. I knew that, and I guess Jerry talked about men not wanting to be exposed or not wanting to be vulnerable.
Vulnerable, yes.
But women are different. Our makeup is different. We want to talk. We want to share. We want to open up about what's going on or how we can get better at things. You know, so for me, it was important that we laid a foundation in our marriage. It was important that I have a different story to tell about marriage, that it wasn't just a marriage. And that was always one of the things I was scared of, just going through marriage,
just
having a routine.
Routine, yeah.
And for me, wanting to get married was more than just because I love this guy and I want to get married and I want to have kids and want to play house and all that and get the jobs and all that. I actually wanted a beautiful marriage. And I know that what God said is good, and what he created is excellent and pleasing, and it really should enhance our lives. You know, it should actually be so good. But when you look around, you think and you see the impact it's having on lives, you think that this thing is no good. You know, so I wanted to ensure that we had a great foundation in our marriage.
No, it's very interesting because you know, I had a similar. I don't want to go into too much details, wherever I expose anybody, but I had seen things around me or people around me that respected their marriage and it didn't work out, and it shocked me. And during my wife and I's wedding planning phase, it was very, very traumatic and very, very turbulent. So we knew that we had to do something about it, and we had to actually come together and become one, because you don't really know how strong a foundation is until when it's actually when you shake it.
Exactly.
So after we had our episode during the wedding planning phase of family drama, serious family drama, losing friends, losing family, we became stronger than ever because we were aligned. That's because of the conversations we had together, the alignment we had together. So now, and that's why I wanted to have this conversation with people. So what happens in counseling, and you know what you know, because I think men are resistant to it. But what are the outcomes out of it, and why have you done it for 30 years now, since you were resistant to it, and then you took your wife to the wrong queue to go and sign up? Why? What is the positive that's come out of it? And obviously, some of our viewers are not Christians, but obviously, whatever is both applicable to everyone. So, what are the positives that's come out of you actually attending counseling?
I want to make sure I understand your question. Are you looking at how counseling has helped us, or what we have been able to learn from teaching it?
No, how has helped some of the students? You've actually, that's what I'm. Not about you, but see people coming in, they might have resisted. I know some guys that have resisted it. You have seen that, and then when they come out, what they actually come out with it,
how they feel.
With
the course we do, we cover certain topics. And I think it's the information and the way it's taught. It's not taught as a everybody sits down and we just sit back and we know it all and we tell you what to do, etc. There's a lot of communication back and forth. So I'll just touch a few of the topics.
Please. Yes, that's very important.
One of the starting points is there's this saying where I'm not saying it's just a woman, but I'm going to use that to explain what I'm trying to say. You hear people say, "I'm looking for Mr. Right." So what we start with is, when you say you're looking for Mr. Right, question, are you Mrs. Right? So it's important that even before you jump into a relationship, you have to look at yourself
first.
Because if whatever you have, you are going to take it into that marriage. So we start with that. And you would find a lot of things come out. I mean, you have people who've been traumatized from birth. There are all sorts of things. And if you've got an issue, and it could be a simple thing like anger, you know, or maybe you are someone who throws away money. There are so many issues, but these issues, if you start by looking at yourself, what you are doing is you are preparing yourself to make yourself Mr. Right or Mrs. Right before you get married. So we start by looking at yourself. Then we go into a slightly more deeper things like what are your family. What's your family like? What kind of things have you picked up? You know, because when you start looking at those things, you begin to understand who you are.
When you do this, is it on a couple basis or in a classroom setting? Because
that's a very good question.
Because it's right, because these are like very, very important personal questions. And how do you facilitate those sessions? I'm sorry to cut you. I just thought I'd ask that question.
That's a very important question, because if you hadn't asked me, you know, it wouldn't really come out how this is taught. So the ministry that we are in, we have is taught with couples, and the maximum number of couples is 6, including us 7. So with that, we always make sure it's advised and it's important that it's taught in a family setting. So it's not kind of in a
conference.
The
home setting. Okay, that makes a difference.
So everything is relaxed. And initially, you would think that when couples come, you're sitting with other couples sometimes you don't even know them, and you kind of think people would resist it. But what happens is after a few days, when we make everyone see this is a non-threatening, important as well. If you don't want to reveal or say anything in the group,
Don't have to.
you don't have to. If there's anything you are going to discuss, preferably, especially at this time you are not married, but preferably don't say anything that would make your partner uncomfortable. So what happens is after a while, everybody just comes so relaxed that, and I think that what I've learned, what I've seen from doing it is the fact that it's a very small group and it's within a home setting. There's much more relaxed relationships built up.
No, that's very, very good, very, very good context. Before you carry on with you're going to give us some topics, but I think I just want just with the viewers that marriage is sweet. Like it's I've not been married for long, but we've been together for 8-9 years.
All right.
It's sweet, and I tell people that I have best friends. I even have a female best friend, but my wife's not my best. She's my partner. She's my life partner.
Yes.
And it's a big difference.
Yes.
Yes.
We are one. We are aligned,
That's right.
and it's because of I understand her. She understands me. We've discussed some of those traumas we both faced as young children,
okay.
and so when she does certain things that does not make sense to the world, I know where it is coming from.
Exactly.
And that only came out when we had the issues during the wedding planning, and I'd experienced some of the things she had been telling me about that I'd never understood. And I don't want to go into the details here. I never understood, but I experienced it firsthand from the source. Let me just put it that way.
Yes.
And then I realized that, oh my gosh, I'm experiencing this in this space of 1 year. She's experienced all her life. And I thought to myself that imagine as a child going through all of this, then I finally gave her grace and patience and whatever I was going through. So, and that only happened through, obviously, it didn't come out of counseling, but it happened from us having to have those conversations with ourselves, which sometimes some couples can't do. And it's very important to have facilitators or coaches to help you have those conversations, because now I see her as my life partner. It's sweet. It's a teamwork. There's no competition, and I want everyone to really enjoy that. So carry on. So I just interject that in there. Why this is very, very important, because the wedding is just 1 day, and marriage is forever. And forever is a long, long time. And I've seen couples where it's think of communication.
Yeah.
Lack of communication then means what's the word I'm looking for? Really not when you keep something in your heart.
Yeah.
Very well.
When you keep it in your heart and then it's festering, and then you now blow it up in the future because you're not actually. So sorry, carry on with those topics. I think they're very powerful.
I mean, what you said is so key and so important, because the good thing about this is that some people you were able to raise and become alert to certain issues, fundamental, that needed to be addressed. Now, some people may not even realize the challenges they are facing within themselves, or they may not even understand what your intended is facing. But what the course does is it enables you to look at topics and the questions that come up in the course of the session, picks up on, inevitably will touch on things that affect you personally. And there are things that you may not even have realized how important this thing is, or how if I don't address this, I'm going to carry it into my marriage. And it's only when they are going through the course that they begin to see that these things are fundamental in the course of talking to one another, because you have to do some homework. It's life application.
I like that.
So you have to ask yourself some questions. The course lays out some questions. So you have to ask yourself some questions individually and together, and you work through things together. And I can assure you, in the course of doing that, things come out. Things come out. And so you can begin to develop an understanding. You can begin to develop communication. You can begin to see what are the challenges that this person is facing, the challenges that I'm facing, that if I don't address, it could impact on my marriage. The idea that just because you love each other, we are so in love.
Yeah, love is never enough.
You're going to get together and it's going to work. It's quite, it's a very false view. So it's important that we understand what are the challenges, and going through the course enables you to see the sore points, and we see it time and time again. There are certain sore points that impact on a marriage.
So the course covers a variety of topics. How many topics again did you say altogether?
9.
9 topics, and then one of them will be you would bring something out, and then so
Yeah.
How, so let's say I'm a couple that we've gone in there, what kind of mentality do you tell couples to adopt when they come to this thing? And if there are these personal things that come out, how do you encourage them to handle it? Because, you know, it's one thing to figure out the issues, but then it is more importantly, how do you then turn it around to become positive? How does that work?
I think you're bringing out a lot, and I think you know exactly your role, because you're
thank you very much.
Good.
I really like it, because what we do is understand that when you are doing a premarital, you are not married. You know, so there's the men bit, and there's the woman bit. So in the beginning, when we are discussing certain topics, we actually have, I think it's for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I think 2 or 3 weeks. The first 3 weeks, we actually break into groups, and the first group will be just men. So I'm the man, and then the other men are with me. So then we can discuss man things without your partner being there. And in the very same way, the woman led by my wife or whoever is leading the course will also have a few minutes where they discuss things. And with that, there are some things that you can discuss with these men who are, you know, slightly away from their wife, and you are a married man, so they can ask you. So we do that for the first 3 weeks. And when we've covered all those, I mean, these sort of topics that you mentioned, getting to know yourself, etc. Then from the 4th week going, we actually have everybody together. So the couples are together, then we start discussing things. Now, the reason we do the breakup is you no matter how close you are, there are some things that a man is more likely to ask another man, especially someone who is married. So then we can give them all that build up foundation, so that when we come together and they are with their spouses, hopefully we've been able to cover those sort of things, address them, and explain to them that this is how you've got to relate to your partner, etc. And it should then be able to not, I wouldn't say it immediately becomes, you know, successful.
Yeah.
But as we are going along, you would hopefully see that at least the men begin to communicate better. I mean, one of the things I have learned that I do in this course is where I come from, we have this sort of macho African, I'm the man, I say. The woman doesn't have a say. But I've gotten to the point where I've realized that is not the way to do marriage. So if I can get that sort of information through to the men I deal with, that your partner is as important as you are. The fact that you may be the head of the family doesn't mean that your partner is a subordinate individual who should not even dare open her mouth and say something. So if I can get these sort of things across to them on the man-man basis, I think that's so important. That so when they are back with their spouses, we should see that sort of, because if you have you're dealing with couples where the man doesn't allow the woman to speak, immediately it's also the sort of thing I'll take the man aside and try and communicate to him that that's not the way. Because if you continue like this, it's going to show. Well, it's going to be a problem in the future. Yeah.
And have you had a case where this is premarital counseling or coaching, where you've seen a couple and you realize that this is not gonna work, and you know what do you do in that situation? I know it can be an awkward one. Someone that said this is the love of their life, and you're telling them this is not this might be the love of your life, but it won't last for life.
Okay, so what we have seen is couples who there are major issues that, if not addressed, will cause problems in the future, and we raise that with them. And the danger is when we raise it and they say to us, we accept what you're saying and we're dealing with it. But in actual fact, they have not actually put it into practice in their marriage. So they've taken it on board.
Not yet married.
No, they've not taken it. They've not. Okay, so I'm moving forward. And the reason why I'm going ahead is because we've seen couples where raise that
they actually go on with the marriage.
To get married, and you can see the impact
in their marriage.
You know, so it's important that when we and for us, what it's taught us, we learn from experience.
Yes.
That we need to be more bolder in terms of pinpointing things and saying, you know what, this can be a challenge, if you don't deal with it.
And I think what you just said there is very important about you taking that responsibility of being bolder, because in a case where, you go on to get married, and maybe it's, and when you get married, and especially when you get married and you know the issue is there, you're not going to want to give up on it immediately, because you're going to say you spent money on the wedding, the embarrassing factors, everything. So you keep going on for maybe 4 or 5 years, maybe even 10 years, but it's still there. And the longer you wait, the more it affects everybody. Because, I've seen situations where they're getting a divorce, but you're not only divorcing that person, everyone else is some way affected, whether the kids, your siblings, and everything. I think it's amazing that you guys have taken that responsibility on yourselves to say that we're going to be bolder and actually, speak up about these things, because, you can see it from your experience coming.
You can see it, and it's important that we are. It's important that we are clear with the couple, because what we have seen, the impact it has on the individual.
Mental health and everything,
emotionally, the children, the knock-on effect is so serious that it's not, if we have been called to something, then we need to take it seriously, because you warn people in advance. I mean, I say this to people sometimes. I said, look, I've got to the point where when people tell me that they are getting married, I'm like, oh, okay. Before you say,
get excited.
But I know that there are certain things that you need to know before you get into this thing, especially if you want it to work. And you talked about 5 years, 10 years later. We don't just want to get married. Longevity does not indicate the quality of the marriage. So people are in marriages year in, year out, struggling in turmoil for years, and then suddenly they think they cannot take it anymore. So it's important that we address, we try and encourage couples to address issues. I heard someone say this, and it really impacted me. What you bury, when you bury an emotion, you bury it alive. It's there. It's, as you said, it's there. It's having impact on your marriage. It does not go. You cannot dismiss it. So when there's something that we have said you need to address, it's important that you need to address it, because it's going to impact on your marriage as you move ahead.
And in this course, where you go through the topics and maybe things might come out, and obviously you're in a group of 6 couples. Let's say there's a certain topic that resonates more with a couple, or there's a bigger issue there. How do you manage that in the course? Do you then, because it's one thing to say that, okay, topic number 4 is what is affecting us, and another couple is maybe topic number 7. Then how do you manage that room into, because I guess it becomes like a one-on-one session after that point, or how, I don't know how I'm not maybe.
I mean, there's no doubt about it that if you're dealing with topic 4, like you said, at that time you deal with topic 4. Now, if a couple has an issue and it's brought up, the best thing to do sometimes is to speak to them outside the group, so it becomes more of a one-on-one, because during the course there's a limited period. There are things that we follow and go through, so we can't just stop and just deal with one person. So it's always happens that when you run these sorts of courses, you will have one-on-one with the couples, with a specific couple who's got an issue with that topic outside the group. So
and do you see, I know we've spoken about the negative, where you've advised the couple to work on their issues, but they decided to go out there, and then you've seen the negative effect later on. Have you seen another case where you advise the couple to work on their issues, and then they actually work on those issues, and then they're in a happy marriage? And what does that look like in terms of like the work they did? I don't know if you have an example in mind. Sorry to put you on the spot. If I am.
Well, it's very interesting, because as far as we're concerned, I think we don't have any specific example, but there's one of the other leaders in the ministry who, after they had spoken specifically to a couple about that they don't think they are ready for, and it's best they don't go ahead, the couple actually put a hold to their, they put a hold, and they went there. I don't think they went their separate ways, but they didn't go ahead with the wedding. And I think they may have worked on, they should have worked on what they had discussed, because they came back later, a few months, maybe even a year later, and then they got married. And from there on, they are progressing well. But as far as we are concerned,
I mean, what I would, in terms of how couples have moved on after working on their marriage. So I do know that we get a lot of referrals from couples who've been through.
Who've done the course.
So I know that there's been a positive impact, and they will chase us. we want to do this, so we know, and they tell us where that referral has come from. And these are couples who've done the premarital coaching. They've not gone on yet to do the marriage course, but I know that
they are
clearly they are still married. So I know clearly it impacted them. So for them to do the referrals, and most of the couples we have come through referrals, so that's what sometimes ignites a group by, triggers a group rather, by referrals. And so we get them all together and then we do the coaching.
No, that's absolutely fantastic. Seeing that, getting those referrals, and that could be your KPI, key performance given that is actually working. So it's really glad. I'm really glad that that's really happening. So so in a case where there's somebody watching right now, and they're thinking, I want to get my partner into this. How would you encourage them to start that conversation with their partner? I'm looking at premarital, wedding is coming up next year, wedding is coming up end of the year. How would you encourage them to start that conversation? And I'm guessing it goes mostly the female asking the man to be, if I've been, in most cases. How would you encourage, maybe you can answer that question, how would you tell this viewer to encourage their partner to actually speak about and get involved in this?
I mean, one of the first things I say to couples, a lady who would approach me about wanting to do it, is we're happy to give you half an hour and just tell you about it together. Because having that first initial contact just gives them a chance to find out more. So they don't have to, they're in a safe environment, one-to-one, we tell them about the course, and then they can make up their minds. And I would say that we've had 100% sign-ups.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Once they have that 30 minutes.
Once they have their time. It's harder when they're in a group and we tell them all about the course. But when we sit down with couples, either by Zoom or face-to-face, they sign up. I don't think we've ever had anyone not do it.
Yeah, because if I look at my young self, and Maria just said to me, "Oh, we should go on this counseling course," just like how
it happened,
the position, what happened. You don't know who these people are. You know nothing about this ministry, and you think, I'm not going to spend. I mean, I'm thinking about getting my flowers for the wedding, etc. Now you want me to go and sit with this person. So what we do is we just ask the one partner, just tell your partner that we are prepared to meet with you on Zoom, or even if you can come to our place, and we'll tell you about it.
Or we can go to your place.
You see, because one, you're able to introduce yourself to them, so they get to know who these people are, because they don't know what ministry this is. So once you were able to introduce, and then we do, and what we do is we don't come across as we're trying to sell anything to you. We are as open and as relaxed, and we just tell you what this is what we do, these are the topics we cover, and this is how it has helped us. And like my wife said, when people hear what it's all about and what it covers, there's always 100%.
And we also tell them our experiences.
Yeah.
And I think giving them our experiences often is a game changer. They recognize, oh, that sounds interesting. That sounds like us. That's something maybe we need to know more about. And so we just don't tell them about the course. We talk about ourselves and the areas where God has helped us with, or the areas where we've had challenges, just so that they know that we're all in it together. We are not coming as perfect people. We are coming as people who are just willing to learn more about marriage and enhance our lives.
I really like that, because you're not coming in as we know it all.
No.
Or our marriage is perfect. You're coming in as we're a continuous improvement project, for the rest of our lives, and that's very important. I think that allows people to feel more personal and feel more open and more vulnerable. Because I think you've raised those good points about men. First of all, I don't know who you are. Why are you trying to find out what's going on with me? I don't want to be vulnerable. But once you meet the people, you're like, okay, they've been ahead. They're still working on themselves. Let's find a way to actually, engage them. And I was going to ask you that. Okay, let's say now you're married now. You've never done counseling. Is it too late for people who are watching now? Is it too late to do the coaching or the counseling? What are your thoughts around that?
It's never too late, in the sense that, of course, the courses that we teach, and it's important that I point out that I'm not saying that our ministry is the best and that's the only one. What you do before you get married is definitely the premarital. But when you are married, you've crossed that line. So what you are going to be doing now is the course for married people. So with that,
It's a different set of topics.
It's a different set of topics. But the important thing is, it's far more in depth. But the important thing is, the ministry actually started with just the marriage course. So it was only teaching marriage people. But then the feedback after most of the course was that the people said, wow, if we knew this before we got married, it would have helped us. So that's why the premarital course then was introduced. And in the very same way, there's a third course, which is for parenting.
Okay.
So there are 3 courses. So if you are married and you still want to, like you are interested in getting a bit more information, yes, there's a course for married people.
And also so I know it's all based in Christian principles and the Bible.
Yes.
What about the viewers that are non-Christians? Would this benefit them, or are they invited to join as well?
I think the most important thing is understanding the principles that are behind. Because if you look at a lot of life, let's say you are just put Christianity out aside. If you look at life, there are a lot of things that you would agree with that principle, or this is a good principle. For example, you don't lie. That is a truth. You don't tell lies to your partner. You're not going to help. Now, these principles will work whether you are a Christian
or not.
So what we are teaching, of course, is based on Christianity. And when you come to the course, you can make your mind up yourself. We don't push Christianity. All we're doing is teaching Christian principles. But of course, if you don't agree with any of the things that we say, we are prepared to discuss it with you, because like I said, we are not pushing Christianity. We are pushing principles that, as far as we are concerned, are positive for before married, when you are married, and when you have children as well.
Can I just say, for example, Jerry talked about principles. Think about agreement. As couples, you need to know how to be in agreement. If couples are doing their own thing and rarely come into agreement, well, that marriage is going to break down. So one of the principles we teach on the course is agreement.
How to come into agreement.
So that, for every couple, will need that, regardless of your position. But we give a Christian perspective on it. Nevertheless, unbelievers can pick, or people of different faiths can pick things up from what we teach. And we do welcome people who are not Christians. We've had them on the course.
Okay.
Great.
Fantastic.
We've had them on the course, and they have been some of the most enthusiastic.
I know we kind of, you can't do the course on this podcast right now, but can you just touch on some of those topics? You don't have to explain it, just so people can just hear. So I just want people to start thinking about, this is the first one you mentioned about, looking at within yourself. Is that perfect? Is it perfect? Are you perfect yourself? And I just thought, that's interesting. Can we just go through those topics? Just one
very, very briefly, like you said. Another one is just you've touched on it, family ties. You look at family and how you are connected to the family, because no matter, everyone must have grown up in some sort of, and you would end up taking whatever you've picked in that family. You're being brought up, you take it into your marriage. So we look at all those family ties, and then how you are going to translate that into your marriage. Because one of the things that we have to understand is, you and your partner, you are different people. You come from different families. Sometimes you are from different nationalities.
So
that
cultures.
Different cultures.
And
so
if you're in the same country, come from the same country.
Yes, that's a very important point.
Cultures, as we know. Different.
Because I'm Nigerian, and even within Nigeria, Yoruba, Igbo, it's completely different culture.
I mean, we're Ghanaians. Jerry's from the south.
I'm from the south. She's from the north.
Different cultures, and even in our wedding planning, those were some of the issues.
Exactly.
That came about. So
how do we do things?
Sorry, Karen.
So we look at that, and then we call this one exiting memory lane. Now, what does this mean?
That sounds very interesting.
Memory lane is what you have. I don't want to call it your baggage, but what you've brought with you. And now you've got to understand that some of it is good, some of it is not good. So there are the things that are not good that you have to. So it's a sort of slightly more detailed look at you again. I told you in the beginning, we start by looking at you. How you've grown up. And this one, the things that you've picked up. For example, if you're someone who has got 5-6 girlfriends in the past, you don't just leave those relationships and go, and then you start with your new wife and she's going to be the one. There are some things that you may have picked up and carried from her. So when we and your thought process is, sometimes you even start comparing your partner to, one of your so-called. So exiting memory lane is also very important to help you make you the right person when you go into marriage. Then hole in one is slightly more difficult to.
Yeah, I think that's a bit more detailed.
Yeah, that's a bit more detailed.
I mean, look at finances, for example. How do you handle money? What are your views on money?
Yeah.
What do you think you should major on with money? How do we handle money together? I mean, that is a topic that everyone needs to discuss.
Yeah.
You may not reach a full conclusion, but in the course of doing the course, some questions arise. Some where you have to look at yourself, and some discussions you have with the person you're thinking of getting married to, and that discussion alone will raise issues. Yeah, so it's either going to be something that you need to work more on, or this person is like, no way, we're not moving through that. This is the way I think. In that case, why are you going to go ahead and get married to them? Why don't you? I'm not saying you should not marry them, but I'm saying, why don't you work it out?
Take a step back and
Take a step back and think about it. If you cannot get through it, then you've already hit a roadblock.
That topic, finances, is under the subject that we call making it real, where now you're going to look at real issues. It will be finances. Sex we look at as a slightly different topic, but you are looking at finances. You're looking at decisions on where you are going to live, and it's talking about these things. You don't wait till when I say talking about these things, we are not suggesting that you become a MI5 spy.
Trying to investigate.
Again, that's what I said. The mentality you come into these things with, is that you're building. You want to build something together, not understand.
Just communicating and just seeing where the other person is from, understanding them, not just seeking to be understood, but you also understanding where that person is coming from.
Yeah, so we're making it real. We cover things like even level of education, like between you. Do you think education is important, that you want to maybe continue towards a master's, or PhD, or you think PhD, or you think, oh no, for us, I think maybe as soon as we finish secondary school, I'm the kind of person who's thinking we go straight into business. It's just these things have to be discussed, even number of children. Because, for example, you get married to this person, then the next thing the person says is, no, I never wanted to have children. It was never part of my plan, and now you are married. So it's looking at how real your the issues are, because
so that topic is called making it
real, and
it covers all this. That's different topic under there.
About it. Jerry talked about someone wanting to go into more education. If that has not come up before you got married, when you get married and you decide, this is what I wanted to do, I've always wanted to do this for my life. So why are you stopping me? By the impact on the family's finances. Because the person that's not working, or their fees, or all kind, or maybe they are studying a lot and it's impacting on the home and the time.
Even related to like kids thing, where if the woman wants to go for education and she's like, I want to do my education first, I have kids, but the guy saying I want to have kids. So it's absolutely, those things are all interlinked.
They are all interlinked, and they are so important that you have these discussions. So you cannot just assume, I'm in love with this guy. You have this romantic view of marriage. The practicalities are challenging.
And I think, like my wife said, and you've pointed out, I love weddings. Weddings are just great, and they are important as well. We are not even saying in one breath that your wedding is not important. Don't put energy in it. It's very important. It's part of the foundation of what you do. But what we're saying is, in the very same way that you put so much energy and effort and planning into
wedding,
this wedding,
Yeah.
You should put that
also
effort.
think about what is going to happen after the wedding.
yeah.
So you put as much effort in discussing these things, and like we said, children, and it's just we encourage it to be a discussion between the two of you. You are not tying the person down and say, "Oh, 2 children I want." I mean, when we got married, we had discussed, and I was coming from the point of I want 3. And I can't even remember how many children she mentioned, but we had discussed it. And now I'm looking back, the reason I ended up on that number was because in my family there were 3 children.
Okay.
So you just kind of flow with it and you don't realize that. But we had discussed it and there wasn't any disagreement.
I don't think there was
you know.
any. And I
There
think
wasn't
we've
any
got to the
disagreement,
point
but
where
we're just like,
even if there were
but we
more,
knew we're going to have children.
yeah. So even if there were more or less, we are at that point with ourselves that
It wouldn't have
it's
been,
not an
it
issue.
wouldn't have been.
Yeah.
You know, so that understanding, you talked about being aligned with your wife, my life partner.
Yeah.
We, whatever happens, we are in it together.
Yeah, that is.
So, and it's having that heart for the person you're going to get married, and just understanding it's not just about me; it's about the other person. You know, think about someone who has a vision for their lives and the vision to do this and do that. You know, and in your heart, you're all ready to do this amazing thing, and that is so all-consuming. And then you get married, and then this thing becomes all-consuming, and the poor person, be it the man or the woman, is thinking,
I just have to follow you.
yeah, they were just bamboozled because they never expected this is the direction we're going. You know, I was really excited. I had a young lady contact me and she said, Maria, someone has referred me to you and I want you to take us through the course. I'm not even worried about the wedding. Trust me, I am happy if on that day we just get together, do something small and do the thing. It's the rest of our lives. And I thought, wow, this is so good to hear, because clearly she had spoken to someone who had gone through it was a referral. And I thought, wow, if we can just start changing minds, because social media makes weddings look
so
something
glamorous.
so glamorous and people are excited, relationship goals. What does that mean? Do you know what I mean? So it's important that we look at this more closely, and it will make such a difference.
Okay, just coming back to the topics.
Sorry, of course.
One of the weeks is intimacy.
Okay.
And from our point of view, we would, I know people may not agree with this, etc. But firstly, understanding what intimacy is. Intimacy is not sex. Intimacy is how close you get to that person. So we not only teach the importance of intimacy and what it, I mean, you cover things like love language and all those other sorts of things, but we would actually advise that you refrain from sex until
Marriage.
get married, and that's our point of view. I mean, we are not forcing anybody to take that stand, but even like living together, we would advise not to live together before you get married. So the question is, why do we advise that? And I'm going to say it again, let's put Christianity aside and let's just think about living together. Now, if you are living together with your partner before you get married, and it then happens that you don't go ahead and get married, what do? You break up with this person. Now, when you break up, you are picking luggage from that relationship. Then what do? You go to the next person and then start all over again with this luggage, and you end up living together with this person again. So a relationship is a very intimate thing. So it's very important that you sometimes have to just hold back until you actually get married. When you get married, you've got years of all these sex and everything that people dream of. You've got that in abundance, 10 years. Why do you want to start ruining it before you get married? So where we are coming from, we will talk about intimacy, but we say, hold on, this is the beautiful thing, but not now. And I see it as such a wonderful thing that when you get married and you've gone through this wonderful thing, and then you are now going to become intimate. I think it's so different when you are doing all this, but you've lived with that person. Everything about that person you know already. You've been having relationships and everything is not the same. You now got married and you just go to what you've been doing before. So we look at refraining and building yourself up, but understanding how important intimacy is. And then when you go through this wonderful period, then you've got the rest of your time together to explore things.
No, awesome. Is there any more topics, or have we covered?
We call one of the topics the home team. And you've covered a lot of it, but it's understanding that you are a team and you are not one is more superior than the other, because there are things that you balance each other with.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Yes.
Just like a very simple thing, how to make a baby. No woman can make a baby on her own. No man can make a baby on his own. They need each other. When they come together, as has been ordained or put together by having the relationship, and then the man gives the woman his sperm, the woman brings the egg. What a wonderful end result is this beautiful baby that comes out. And understanding that is how your marriage should be. You are a team. You don't have all the answers. Your partner has things that you can't do. And the very same breath, there are things that your partner can't do that you can do. So it's understanding that when you come together as a team, you strengthen each other. And then you are able to face all the other issues that we've covered. Like
I think your wife said that the mentality we're in this together.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Right.
think
So
if you can get there,
challenges,
you can get there as a couple.
And so you may find that you may not cover every eventuality, but because you've come to that place of understanding that we are in this
together, yes.
we are, you don't anticipate redundancies. You don't anticipate when things go wrong. But you know that when it does, because life happens. And that's the question I put to couples on the course. I said, you're all getting married and you're happy and you're excited. What happens if your back is up against the wall? Because you will get there. There are challenges life brings up to us. How are you going to deal with it? Is your marriage strong enough to deal with that challenge? So it's understanding that we are in this together. I love the way you summarize it with your wife. We are a team, we're a partner, and we're a partner, and we're going to work this out. And that is why, just going back to that topic, family ties. When you know that it's us, and you don't allow family to come in and tell you what you should be doing, or speak to one person or the other and say, well, tell him to do this, or why hasn't he done this, or maybe you should do this. Speak to them. That needs to be cut. If they understand that you're a team and you don't allow people to come in, they will not do it. They only do it because they've been granted permission.
Yeah, they've seen a space.
They've seen a space to come in. And that is one of the biggest challenges, and I just come back to family side because we're talking about home team. It's both of you. There's nothing wrong with seeking counsel, even though I would be mindful of that as well, because when you start exposing what's going on in your home to your families, that can be a challenge.
Because they always say your family, you can forgive your partner, but your family never forgets.
That's exactly.
What happens.
So whilst you've corrected things and built and
they
moved
will
on,
not.
they are still talking about what happened.
What happened, and that could,
So it's important that you understand that we are a team and we are in this together.
And there's another topic that we call destined as one. Now, this is just looking at you looking into the future together. Because, like you said, after the wedding, now you are married, do you now start saying, right, year 1, what are we going to do? Year 10, it's just you're talking and understanding that if you become a married couple, there are certain things that you have to have thought about. I remember, I don't even remember when, it must have been after we got married, but my wife, I think our children were just babies. And my wife started mentioning about the type of schools they should go to. And I was like, I'm thinking of going to buy the
Nappy.
and I was thinking about, where they are going to go to school. But if you can start looking and discussing these things, and in a structured way, the course allows you to start thinking, under this week topic, start thinking about
future.
year 1, year 5, and you don't have to feel, oh, we have failed because we haven't thought about it. At least it just makes you
just that
Exactly.
plant the seed.
Exactly.
That's the way.
I think that's very important, that statement, because I think people might go with the thing that, oh, we're not. This is the standard you guys are creating. We're not the standard.
Yeah.
And they feel discouraged, but it's not actually that. Just that.
Not
Just
at all.
plant the seed, and then
That's it.
it will show you a path to get to that place.
That's
if
it.
that's what you both of you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's it. And it takes on a path of its own when you are in it together, and
Yes.
you're talking and you're discussing in ways that you probably have never done. You've probably just been caught up with the wedding, the venue, this, that, the honeymoon, but you've not dealt with the real issues of marriage after the wedding. So when you may not have all the answers, but in having that discussion, you're already fostering understanding, you're communicating, and you're setting a pattern for your marriage life.
No, absolutely. Are there any more topics or?
Well, there's this topic, whole as one, and whole in one.
Whole as one, and that also goes into looking at ourselves individually, and the traumas. We always talk about being healed. Being things that you've gone through in your
Wholeness in one. Okay.
Things that you've gone through individually, and that wholeness can only happen when you're both dealing with your issues, and then you come together.
That's very powerful.
And you think about the fact that, and as I think I mentioned this earlier, that you may have gone through stuff that you don't even understand yourself, and you don't even understand how something impacted you as a child, or maybe even as you got older. But in the course of doing this, suddenly you're triggered by something, and it creates something in you. Or maybe when you get married, your spouse says something or does something, and you project on them because of things that are wounding that has taken place.
Yeah.
And I always say this: someone looks a certain way, they have the job, they have the career, they speak well, they are known to be whatever, man or woman, but what is behind that?
No one knows.
That is what behind, because normally what we marry is what we see, but behind that there's a lot.
The mechanism. And it's built by past. Because I was just thinking about it, I'm laughing because there's some words I cannot say to my wife.
Yes.
So I know it to trigger her.
Exactly.
And I've learned, and again, learning and understanding some of those things. I know some phrases I should not use.
Exactly.
Even if I would just say it in a different way. Otherwise, it will trigger down a certain road. And I don't want.
And that is so good, because you've developed a sensitivity to her.
Yeah.
And you've done the work to understand her. And something like my husband often says is, I've been called not to understand every woman, but to understand my wife, and so it's having that, learning to understand this person, and knowing how to relate with them and navigate with them. The work you do is so worth it.
Even as little as, like, let me share this one. Little as, like, make sure when she comes back home from work, there's no plates in the sink. As little as that. If I can do that, I just see plates in the sink. She's happy. There's plate in the sink. I'm in trouble.
That's keeping it real.
That's keeping it real.
Even as little as the toothpaste, because if I turn it upside down and put it inside, I'm in trouble. So I just put it up the right way she wants it.
So you're being sensitive.
So it's just little things like that.
And that it's often the little things that build up into small things. The little things spiral out of control. So the divorce happened not because of that big incident, but because of little things that had been neglected
over time, and that's what it is. And this process, this course allows you to look at those little things and deal with them individually before it all comes together into a massive monster. And then it's like, and at that point when it comes to monster, there's no turning back. I've seen people in love. And then they can't even talk to each other. They hate each other, and it's the worst and most painful thing to actually see happen, especially when you've seen that love grow. Like you're part of that love story as well. That's why I said that, when you guys are doing a great work, being bold and telling you to stop and take a step back, because the longer you are in it, it affects not only you but everybody else, everybody else around you. Thank you both for this conversation. I think it's a very, very important one, because I know with the wedding, like you said, everyone thinks about the glitz, the glam, the decor, but the wedding day is just one day, and marriage is for life. And those people that come to eat your jollof rice or your fried rice, they're not going to be there with you post the wedding. So I really hope this is one podcast that every couple would listen to, and whether you're Christian, non-Christian, or you find whatever alternatives for your religion,
Exactly.
find someone that would actually take you through these conversations, because it's not Christian sense, it's not Christian focused, it's just principles of living with another person, literally.
That's exactly it.
I just hope that people really take this podcast very seriously. So thank you both for this conversation. And where can people find you guys? Are you on Instagram, or if they wanted to reach out? Or
so you can reach 2=1. It's
two equal one. Okay.
It's a ministry. So if you Google it, you'll find it.
Okay, awesome. So everyone, that's
send any messages to the website.
Yeah, awesome.
I think it's spelled 2 and then the word equal.
Yeah.
Number 2 equal one. Okay, that's the website, or
that's right.
Or Instagram.
.co.uk.
2equal1.co.uk if you need to find this course. And like I said, it's not about being a Christian. It's just you want to have a fantastic marriage and you need help. Everyone needs help. And like you said, you both are still growing and you're still continuously developing. I'm actually encouraging now to actually go and do some work with me and my wife, even though things are going well right now, but just it's almost like going to the gym. You don't go to the gym. You don't go to the gym because you're sick. You go to the gym because you are trying to avoid being sick in the future. So it's exactly the same principle. So thank you both so much for this conversation, and I hope everyone takes this very seriously. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.